Hello, foot friends. Today we'll be doing a free foot reading for my good friend J.A. Before we begin, I'd like to remind anyone who would like a free foot reading to contact me on the email at the beginning of the video. The first thing we notice about his very handsome feet are that they are both wide and symmetrically wide all the way to the heel, as you can see from the green lines. Wide feet come into contact with the ground more than skinny feet and provide a good, stable foundation. This usually indicates someone who is a hard worker and may go out of their way to do things for others. The symmetry of his wideness means that he does not lack in any certain area. Next, we examine the toes. First, notice how the middle three toes are aligned, but the big toe is shorter as well as the little toe. The big toe represents how we think, how our thoughts work. When a big toe is slightly shorter, sometimes that means we have difficult times coming up with a decision. However, notice how large and square his big toes are. This represents a degree of stability. He may be a little bit too rigid in his thinking and might benefit from being a little more spontaneous. Notice how his little toes are also somewhat shorter. The little toe represents our security in our relationships with others. Perhaps his rigid thinking, as we saw from his big toe, is causing him to have doubts in his personal relationships. Notice how his toes on his left foot are slightly more splayed than those of the right foot. It is thought that the right foot represents the present and the left foot represents the future. He's putting distance between his toes. Perhaps this means he is concerned or uncertain about his future, or is being very cautious about how he proceeds, despite being more confident in the past. Now we look at the tops of his very lovely feet. If you look closely, you can see some red coloration between his big toe and his second toe. Often this represents a degree of frustration, the big toe being thinking and the second toe being feeling. Perhaps he's having difficulty coming to peace with what's in his mind and what is in his heart. My advice would be to trust your feelings a little bit more and try not to overthink